Tonight on To The Point, Governor Newsom slashes his plans to put a competing anti-crime measure on the ballot, what lawmakers are proposing instead. Plus, as thousands are under evacuation in Butte County, where firefighting efforts stand on the Thompson Fire.
Excessive heat continues to climb, but is there any relief in sight? How long this heat wave will last?
And later, Democrats in Congress torn between backing Biden and sounding the alarm. How the White House is responding.
Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell, and we start tonight tracking several wildfires in our area. Right now, the biggest fire is burning out in Butte County. CAL FIRE says the Thompson Fire has burned more than 3,500 acres. Today, Governor Gavin Newsom declared a state of emergency for the county, and this allows for federal money to help with firefighting efforts. At one point today, more than 20,000 people were under evacuation orders as crews worked to gain control of that blaze. CAL FIRE says there has been no containment. They also say 8 firefighters have already been hurt. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias actually spent the day in Butte County and has more tonight from the Lake Oroville Dam.
We're at the best vantage point where you could truly see the entire aftermath of the Thompson Fire. Here behind me, you can still see some of the smoke coming up. And if you look across, you can see all of the acres that were burned here. Now, we were at the evacuation center earlier where residents say they're holding on to hope that their homes are still standing. The Thompson Fire has forced thousands of people to evacuate their homes in Butte County.
It's awful. It's gut-wrenching. You don't know what to expect.
Mark Alvidaze, his wife and dog, only had minutes to leave their home off Kokani Drive in Oroville. This is his first time being evacuated. A surreal moment that hit him when he received the warning.
The ash, you see the ash fall, then the smoke started coming in. The sun was being blared out, and that's when you see neighbors just panicking and trying to get out. That's when it hit me, like, this is real, I gotta leave.
He and dozens of others are standing by, patiently waiting here at the Oroville Church of Nazarene.
I'm not worried about positions. Her life and my kids' life is more important than any position I got.
Another person you'll find here is Preston England, who says he knows what people are going through. As a survivor of the campfire, he says he felt a calling to come here to help them.
There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's the biggest thing, is the uncertainty of if your house is still standing, uncertainty of where you're going to lay your head at night. If you have animals, uncertainty when you're going to be able to feed and water your animals.
Others will return home to find nothing. At least 2 homes on Bessie Lane were reduced to rubble, and you can see fire damage from the road on another. And as Mark Alvidaze sits at the evacuation center with his wife and dog, all he wants is his home and his neighbors' homes to still be standing when they can return.
I'm really impressed with my neighbors of helping each other out, making sure they're getting out, people taking turns leaving the intersection. Very impressed with my neighbors, the community, very impressed.
The evacuation center says it still has plenty of room for anyone who may need help. In Oroville, Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
We're also monitoring the Grubbs Fire in Butte County. It's burning just south of the Thompson Fire. The sheriff's office has issued evacuation warnings for parts of Palermo. Officials have yet to say how much has already burned or how fast it's spreading. In Placer County, fire crews have stopped forward progress of the Watt Fire. It's burning just north of Antelope and west of Roseville. It is currently at 30% containment with about 23 acres burned. Meanwhile, crews are making progress on the Moccasin Fire in El Dorado County. The fire started yesterday afternoon west of Somerset near Moccasin Trail. It's burned 51 acres and is now 30% contained. Evacuation warnings and orders remain in effect for parts of Oak Hill. We are also tracking more fires breaking out just this afternoon. This fire started in Elk Grove along Calvine Road. The Cosumnes Fire Department says 2 structures were lost before the fire was contained, but thankfully nobody was hurt. The cause of this fire is still under investigation. We're also tracking this record heat stretch. Let's get things over to meteorologist Carly Gomez.
We've been tracking that smoke as well as we've been looking at air quality, kind of hazy out there, and you can see the Thompson fires shifting that toward the east, and a lot of the smoke is shifting east. Meanwhile, we're seeing mostly just some light haze across Sacramento south, with some areas seeing some improving air quality for us. So that's the good news. We're seeing moderate air quality mostly, to a few good spots still remaining. Otherwise, the winds have really started to slow down, which is good news for the firefighters, especially up north, as they're only seeing about 5 to 8 mile-per-hour winds right now, helping them get a handle on those fires. Meanwhile, tonight, we're still looking at a few of the Delta winds starting to move through some areas through the Delta toward Elk Grove, Stockton, and Modesto, where we still have some red flag warning in effect here for areas just north of Vacaville and Fairfield, the coastal range, into Saturday, 9 p.m. for some of those winds picking up. Excessive heat warning in effect till Tuesday, 11 p.m. Now, we're looking at temperatures tonight dropping as low as about 72 degrees with a high tomorrow of 108. And your 4th of July forecast, well, you'll be looking at temperatures around 104 at 6 p.m., 94 by 8 p.m., 10, 82 degrees.
All right, and she'll have your full forecast coming up after the break. It has been a whirlwind week at the Capitol, starting as reported on Monday, with the governor introducing his own anti-crime ballot initiative to compete against one already on the ballot, which Democratic leaders believe is overly harsh. Well, we learned late last night that the governor scrapped his newly proposed ballot measure just a day before lawmakers were set to vote on whether it would make November's ballot.
We thought there would be a competitive measure on the ballot that would crack down on crime to some degree, certainly, but not go as far as the anti-Proposition 47 folks had put forward. And I think in some circles, the feeling was, well, you have two competing measures on there that might confuse the voters and maybe they'll vote no on everything.
The measure that will still go before voters is set to roll back Prop 47, passed by voters in 2014 with nearly 60% of the vote. Prop 47 was a ballot measure that reduced certain theft and drug possession offenses from felonies to misdemeanors to help address overcrowding in prisons. In recent years, critics have blamed Prop 47 for the rise in crime, saying California is too lax on criminals.
You don't want to be considered soft on crime. And so Democrats have to get with that program also. You remember, this is an election year. And so you have all these Democrats who are running in various districts. Some they'll win easily, but some may be very difficult for them. And so there's a lot of pressure on the Democrats to increase penalties, crack down on retail theft.
All right, I want to go ahead and bring in Becca Habegger. She has been following this very closely for us. Becca, the ballot initiative, this is not the only effort to reduce crime this legislative season, right?
Yeah, right. You know, earlier this session, state lawmakers introduced a public safety package of 14 bills addressing everything from retail theft and the fentanyl crisis to rehab and treatment. And now those are making their way through the state house. I've asked Democratic leaders what will happen if these bills and the ballot measure rolling back Prop 47, what if they both pass? Will there be conflicting policy? And, you know, Alex, I'm waiting to hear back, although proponents of the ballot measure say they are not aware of any conflicts. And analyst Steve Swat, who you saw there, says if there are conflicting policies, they'll be settled in court.
And we also want to talk about something else, because, Becca, you have been following a bill that targets people who purchase sex with minors, right?
Yeah, you know, it passed out of committee yesterday, and that was after an emotional hearing.
Today I stand as one, but I come in the name of thousands that have been abused. Please stop the problem that is costing people's lives.
Emotional testimony at Tuesday's meeting of the Assembly Public Safety Committee in favor of Senate Bill 1414, sponsored by Republican Senator Shannon Grove.
Members, as you know, I introduced Senate Bill 1414 with the intent of making solicitation or purchase of minors for sex a prison felony.
Currently, someone convicted of paying for sex with a minor faces a misdemeanor with a maximum penalty of 1 year in county jail and a fine of up to $10,000, though the law right now says someone can spend as few as just 2 days in jail. Grove's bill would make solicitation of a minor punishable as a felony. She wants this to apply to someone soliciting sex with anyone under the age of 18. But this spring, Democratic senators changed it to 15 and under, saying it was otherwise overly broad.
This is a business where you don't always get everything you want.
Assemblymember Kevin McCarty chairs the Public Safety Committee. This week, he, along with Democratic Senator Aisha Wahab, who chairs the Senate counterpart, came to what they believe is middle ground. They added an amendment that would make soliciting sex with a 16 or 17-year-old punishable as a felony if prosecutors could prove those older teens had been trafficked.
The individual doesn't have to prove it. It's the prosecution. If they want to charge this person with this new crime, with this up to a felony on the first offense, they can.
The amendment allowed the bill to pass out of committee, though Grove stands by the original language of her bill.
I just want them all inclusive. A 17-year-old is a 16-year-old is a 15-year-old. I want it all inclusive. But we can't get there, and I'm trying to get there.
And Senator Grove's bill will go before the Assembly Appropriations Committee next month.
All right, Becca, thank you so much. And you already know we will continue to follow this very closely. Next, on to the point, a popular lake closed ahead of the holiday due to the high bacteria levels. What area you should avoid. Plus, more concerns tonight over President Biden's health and his ability to run for office. How the White House is responding. In the middle of this heat wave and just a day before their 4th of July celebration, the city of Lodi announced it is not allowing people to swim at Lodi Lake. A spokesperson with the city says a routine test found E. coli at the lake, making it unsafe for people to swim. The city says the high temperatures and animal waste usually result in higher levels of bacteria. The city notes that even though swimming is prohibited, people are still able to hang out at the beach and the wading pool.
We're going to have park staff out there. We will have lots of signage, and we will be letting people know that the lake water part is closed.
The 4th of July celebration at the lake is still on for tomorrow, and the city says the Lodi boathouse rentals are not impacted. But let's get straight to our weather. Carly with a lot in our forecast here. Yeah. It's going to be hot. We know that's the headline, but what should people know as we get closer to the weekend?
Yeah, we thought we'd see peak today, and in fact, it looks like that high is going to extend into closer toward the weekend here. We could see some of our peak heat hitting on Friday and Saturday. Highs today reached about 105 to 107 degrees from downtown Sacramento. Sacramento Executive Airport, Stockton, Modesto. We did see a few around 108 to 109 in some areas. Even Redding there did get a little higher, around 111, but the records for all these spots were still much higher than where we got today. 111 and 112 were the records in Sacramento and downtown Sacramento, where Stockton was at 109. So just short of that. This isn't a bad thing. This is actually a pretty good thing. I know we didn't forecast it to be this low, but we're happy about it, right? We do not want to be feeling 112 for an extended 10-day period. Now, as we take a look into our weather impact days, it's happening through next week. We originally thought it was going to just be extended until about Sunday. It's extended now until about Tuesday, 11 p.m. The impact, of course, for the excessive heat, but the need for you is to just limit your time outdoors. Make sure you're finding time to give yourself some relief from all this heat. Find some AC, a nice cool down area, and make sure you're watching out for the pets, the kids, as well as the elderly and your neighbors as well. Excessive heat warning is in effect until Tuesday, 11 p.m. So we're looking at this from about Redding all the way down to about Bakersfield with excessive heat, but also a heat advisory from the foothills up into Sierra spots for temperatures there well above their average. And the red flag warning is expiring for our area, especially further north as those winds have died down. But the coastal range still looking at some of that fire weather concern for them through Saturday night till 9 p.m. Now let's take a look here. This is our high pressure in place. It continues to expand and extend as we move from Friday to Saturday just overhead. This could be that peak heat for us on Saturday. And then finally, we see it budging just a little bit more as we start approaching Tuesday and Wednesday. Still hot overhead, but we're finally seeing it shift toward the east. Meanwhile, we have seen it in place for quite some time now. As we take a look at our temperatures in the foothills, 107, 106 tomorrow, 3-day forecast with 108, 110, 111 for us on Saturday. But take a look at this as we move into next week. We could see that triple-digit temperatures extending even as late as the following weekend.
All right, Carly, thank you so much. We still have a lot of news to get to. So after the break, Democrats torn between backing Biden and sounding the alarm tonight, how the White House is responding, plus how the Stockton Police Department is addressing community concerns about crime. Your vote. More fallout tonight after President Biden's debate performance. Sources tell ABC News the president is keeping an open mind about whether to stay in the race. And it comes as the White House struggles to fend off tough questions about Biden's mental fitness.
In the first stunning indication that President Biden is seriously considering his next step, sources tell ABC News Biden told at least 2 people his next few public appearances are critical to determining whether he can stay in the race. They say the president is keeping an open mind about his path forward, saying he knows he has to perform well on his upcoming campaign stops, as well as his Friday interview with ABC's George Stephanopoulos to change public perception. Separately, the New York Times first reported that Biden is weighing whether to continue his re-election bid, a claim the White House quickly rejected.
The president is clear-eyed, and he is staying in the race.
The president's debate performance last week left his campaign scrambling to stop mounting concerns about his mental fitness. Today, Biden speaking to Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer for the first time since the debate, according to a top White House aide, just one day after he spoke to House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries.
He has done this outreach. He's having these conversations. It is important to him to do so.
With just 4 months until Election Day, many Democrats now torn between backing the president or rallying behind a new candidate. Texas Democratic Rep Lloyd Doggett on CNN becoming the first to break ranks.
I just feel that it's time for him to step aside if we are to be able to protect what he allowed us to gain in 2020, which was a victory for democracy.
And we do want to mention that just hours ago, President Biden met privately with more than 20 Democratic governors as concerns reach a critical point. We are told Governor Gavin Newsom was among those in the meeting, and the Associated Press reports that the governors described the conversation as candid, but say that they are standing behind President Biden. The city of Sacramento broke ground today on a project aimed at getting people out of their cars. This is the second phase of Ninos Parkway in the Northgate community. The project will extend the current Ninos Parkway with a multi-use path linking residential neighborhoods to nearby schools. And officials say it is an important project for a growing community.
We're continuing to grow as a city, and we need to make sure that we're cognizant that we need to find other ways of transportation aside from cars.
The project will have an additional safety improvement like a new pedestrian signal and crossing at San Juan Road and 2 speed radar sign installations to help drivers manage their speed. Business owners at a troubled Stockton shopping center received some good news from the police chief as he held a community walkthrough this morning. ABC 10's Gabriel Porras has more on what this could mean for the community.
The day started with a pep talk at a coffee shop off Carroll Weston Boulevard.
We're happy to be here. We know there's been some quality of life issues in the area that we're here to tackle. We're here to have these conversations.
Then it was time for these nearly 24 officers to cross the street, a show of police presence in the same parking lot where 2 teens were shot in broad daylight in May.
There is still some crime here and some concerns, and we're never going to be done.
Managers at this business complained about slow police response to robberies and shooting threats. The message from police?
Help is on the way.
As much as today's community walkthrough was about talking to business owners, it was also a chance for the chief to show off what he describes as a department that's building back better, restoring some services, including bike patrols.
Our staffing levels now is at 365. That's a number we haven't been at for a year. So 365 allows us to do a lot more than what we've been doing.
With the increased staffing and hundreds more police officer candidates in the pipeline, McFadden says conversations are changing within the halls of police headquarters.
We're having the conversation about where to push resources. So instead of pulling back resources, we're pushing them places where they haven't been.
And for the past year, officers haven't been in a lot of places. Just last July, staffing woes forced the chief to reprioritize how the department responds to calls, only sending officers out when there's imminent danger or when crimes are in progress. But all that is now in the past.
We've already hired 36 this year, which again is great. For all of last year, we hired 31. So being at 36 and just in July, you know, we're going to keep building back better.
That build back continues. Much like the shops he visited Wednesday, Chief McFadden says Stockton PD is open for business.
So those that want to have a lot of opportunity for advancement, for new friendships, and reduce crime with a great partnership with the community, please come to Stockton PD.
In Stockton, Gabriel Porras, ABC 10.
All right, next on To The Point, how you can celebrate the 4th of July with fireworks safely. All right, we all know tomorrow is the 4th of July, and fireworks stands are now open for the sale of safe and sane fireworks, but A reminder, fireworks are illegal in certain areas of the state. Anyone caught with illegal fireworks could face fines or even arrests. All legal fireworks include the Safe and Sane logo from the California State Fire Marshal on them. And if you're not sure if your fireworks are legal, you can contact your nearest Cal Fire facility or local fire station. You can also report possible illegal firework use by calling your local sheriff or police department's non-emergency line. And if you are still looking for a way to celebrate tomorrow, well, I will be emceeing the City of Elk Grove's Salute to the Red, White, and Blue event. The event starts at 7 o'clock and is happening at Elk Grove Park. There will be music, food, activities, and of course, come on, fireworks. Admission is free, parking only $10, and the fireworks will start at 9:40. I really hope to see you out there. It's going to be such a great event. As always, thank you so much for spending part of your day with us. If you have something you think we should be looking into, make sure to reach out to me and the team. And remember, strangers are people we just haven't gotten the chance to meet yet. So take the time to get to know someone. Have a great night, and I'll see you out there tomorrow. Hey, it's Alex. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. The To The Point team and I love hearing from you, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. And don't forget, you can always email me and the team at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send us a text message at 916-321-3310.